What's up, everybody? It's your boy Tino here, guys, as we're here today after 14 weeks, ups and downs, injury galores, defense is scoring 50, rookie quarterback scoring 60, 6 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns. It all comes down to this. If it's the final 4, the final 6, whatever your playoff standings may be, we're here, guys, today to recap the last week of the fantasy football regular season and then preview and set your lineups and get you ready for the first round of the fantasy football playoffs. Are you in or are you out? Are you having it ready? Are you getting ready to set your lineups? Are you enjoying a bye? Or are you sitting at home trying to figure out what happened in your fantasy football this year? So we're here today, guys, to talk about it all, get you ready, and let's get everything out. So let's get to the chat. I know I was a few minutes late today. Sorry, guys. I worked a little later today, so I'm kind of a little behind in my day. So that's okay, though. I made a few extra dollars, so that works. What a crazy week of injuries. And with last night's game, it was crazy. Last night's game, both of games last night had to be the best Monday night games of the year. Had to be. Justin Herbert was placed on IR, and we'll have to see what happens with the Chargers. The Chiefs, Mahomes was pissed off. Yes, he was. He was not happy. The Dolphins in December is always bad. Like, what is changing? The weather. It's all about that. It's all about the weather, bro. And what's wrong with the Eagles been scored on in total with the two? Yeah, their defense has been really bad. And, they do get, and they may be playing a Seattle Seahawks Geno Smiths with Drew Lock at quarterback. But we'll have to see what happens. So, it is only Tuesday, so we will just have to wait and see. You think if Frank Wright, if he comes back to the Eagles? No. Kofi and CM Punk? Great. You love it. You love to see that. How many backup quarterbacks are currently playing because of starting quarterbacks? There's got to be more than 5. I think I can name 5 because we got Joe Burrow. We have Kirk Cousins. We have Kenny Pickett. We have Deshaun Watson. We have Minshew Mania, because Minshew is not the starter, guys. Remember, Anthony Richardson was the starter. Will Levis. We have Nick Mullins. Or no, I said Kirk Cousins, so. Because Nick Mullins is starting for them. We have a lot of backup quarterbacks. It's crazy. Justin Jefferson has a chest injury. Yes, he does. Not good. What's up, cool guy? Lions losing to the Bears, guys. The Bears are only 1 game back of the playoff race. Don't count us out just yet. Chicago coming back. Tino, yes, he did. Derrick Henry, guys, carrying me on my back. Derrick Henry, baby, leading Tino to 2 playoff berths. Derrick Henry, that's why you're the king, because Derrick Henry carrying my ass to the playoffs. You love to see it. Love to see it. I don't know. Does that make sense to 49? Yes, they did. Yes. Justin Herbert. Yeah, that's right. The Raiders quarterback. I think Derek Carr's been out every other week. Justin Fields was out. I mean, there's a lot. So that is the chat for now. Jay, just keep leaving your questions. Keep making fun of me, all that fun stuff. But let's get to all of the information that I have here for you guys. Let's get to it. Let's answer some questions. Leave your questions in the comments. Leave your questions in the chat. Make sure you guys hit that like button before we do anything else on this episode. Make sure that you guys become a member of the channel. Leave a super chat or 2. Go and get yourself some merchandise. Remember to do all of that. But, guys, let's get into all of the information, and let's not waste any more time. So, the Bears, Fields to DJ Moore, guys. Let's talk about that, because the Lions, guys, the Lions look like crap. Crap. And the Bears came out, Justin Fields, DJ Moore, that 1-2 stack. If you had Moore and Fields, you were feeling really good. We have injuries, guys. The injuries to these guys We had Nico Collins, CJ Stroud, Josh Jacobs, Alexander Madison, just to name a few. The injuries, guys, are everywhere. It's the first round of the playoffs, though. As I said, it's down to 4. It's down to 6. Are you in or are you out? I made it in 2 out of 3 of my leagues. Last night, I said I only made it in 1, but then I woke up this morning, guys, to a Tuesday miracle, and I don't know how, but I outscored one guy that I needed to outscore. I got 1 victory point, and that 1 victory point led me to the playoffs as the 6th seed. As a 6-8 team, guys, 6-8 this year I went in 1 league. Not good, but I found a way in, and now let's find out if we can get further. So let me know what you guys got. Let me know how you guys are feeling, what you guys get into, how'd you guys get, and what'd you guys do, and how'd you guys end up the rest of the year. So let's talk about these Monday night games. Let's talk about the injuries and everything else. So, okay, well, we don't want that. Why was that so loud? So we don't want that. But let's get to it, and let's talk about the Monday night games, because we had 2 of them. If you were living under a rock and you didn't see these 2 Monday night games, I don't know what you were doing or where you were at, because these 2 Monday night games were absolutely killers. And they might have very well been the 2 best Monday night football games that we've seen in a very long time, because we had the Giants, we had the Packers, and then we had the Dolphins and the Titans. And I don't think anybody expected what happened to happen. We saw the Giants win 24-22. Jordan Love had two interceptions. He had a fumble. He had 1 fumble, 1 interception. He only threw 1 touchdown. He didn't have a very good game. We saw Saquon Barkley get 2 touchdowns. Tommy DeVito didn't have a bad day. We also saw Jalen Reed, guys, at 20.8 fantasy points. Wan'Dale Robinson had 6 receptions for 79 yards. And Tyler Kraft had 64 yards for 4 receptions. So if you had any of those guys, you were feeling really good. But it helped me out because Jordan Love sucked. The Packers lost. I made the playoffs, and it was a good day. So the Giants, keeping their playoff hopes alive at 5-8, beating the Fudge Packers, are now only a 1 game behind of the Packers as the Packers fall to 6-8. And as I just said, the Giants go and improve to 5-8. The other Monday Night Football game, we saw Tua Tagovailoa and those Miami Dolphins taking on Will Levis, Derrick Henry, and the Tennessee Titans. And this game, they were down by 14 points with 3 minutes left. And after Monday Night Raw ended last week, as you guys saw, we watched the game, and within literally a minute and a half, the Titans were tied, and we were close to going to overtime. But instead, Derrick Henry got a touchdown. He got 2 touchdowns to be exact. And the Tennessee Titans upset the Miami Dolphins 28-27. We saw Tyreek Hill. He ended up having 10 points, but he did leave the game for a while. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that injury, if there is any injury to that and to them in the upcoming week. Raheem Mostert at 21 points. He had 96 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Jalen Waddle at 79 yards receiving and 6 receptions. Tua didn't have a phenomenal game. He only put up 240 yards and didn't get any touchdowns. Will Levis didn't have a great game, but he also didn't have a horrible game. He had 327 yards. He had 1 touchdown, 1 interception. As I said, Derrick Henry had 2 touchdowns with 34 yards. He did have a reception for about like 13, 14 yards. But DeAndre Hopkins, guys, he was on the Texans or the Cardinals, because he had 7 receptions, 124 yards, and a touchdown. I'm not going to expect this every week from DeAndre Hopkins, but the times we do really see the real DeAndre come out, and the guy that we all know and love from Houston, and the little bit of time that he did have in Arizona, it's nice to see. So those were the 2 Monday Night Football games, and those were the 2 games that we had, and that it was good. And it was fun to see. I wish every Monday night game was like that. But now it's time to be on the sour note, and it's time to talk about all of these injuries that went down this past week. And going into the first round of the playoffs, guys, it seems like every single one of these are big names. We had CJ Stroud and Nico Collins. CJ Stroud has a concussion, and Nico Collins has a calf injury. Josh Jacobs has a knee injury. We're going to have to keep an eye out for that. Obviously, they play on Thursday night, just like the Chargers. But the Chargers will now be without Justin Herbert for the rest of the year, as Justin Herbert has officially been placed on IR and is now out for the season. So, Jacobs, keep an eye out for him. We're going to have to see. Alexander Mattison has an ankle injury. Alexander Mattison will have to see what goes down. Gardner Minshew, guys, has a head injury. These concussions are out of control. Justin Jefferson had a chest injury. He is day-to-day, and we'll have to keep an eye out. Nick Mullins will be the starting quarterback for your Minnesota Vikings this week against the Cincinnati Bengals. Remember, we will be live on Saturday at noon to play some Madden and to watch that game. Also, we have Dalton Kincaid with a shoulder injury. We had Keenan Allen with a heel injury. And we had Taysom Hill that was out this past week with a foot injury. So as I say, guys, every single Tuesday, it is only Tuesday. So keep an eye out for it. Look out for it. And keep an eye out for the injury report because you don't know what's going to happen from here Thursday to Sunday. Anything can happen. So we're just going to have to keep an eye out for that. But those are all of the injuries that I have written down. If you guys have any other injuries, let me know what injuries you guys have. And let me know what you guys got. So, yeah. But let's get into and let's take a look at and let's talk about the three things that I learned from this past week. And the first thing that I learned is, Jadis, please don't hate me, but the Eagles were exposed this past week. The Eagles defense, guys, I don't know what it is. I don't know what their issue is, but they are just they just aren't very good. They weren't very good. The defense is just not what it once was. I don't want to say it, but it's the truth. So, sorry, Jadis, but I learned that the Eagles have been exposed, and I think teams now know, and they will now know what to do with the Philadelphia Eagles. Not saying the Eagles are going to be bad in any way. I'm just saying that the Eagles aren't going to be as guaranteed as we all thought they were going to be. So that's just how I feel about that. The other thing, the Lions, guys, I don't know what it is about these Detroit Lions, and I talk about it sometimes, but they are not very good in the cold. It does not matter, and it does not matter who, where, what team they play in the cold. If the Detroit Lions are playing outside, you cannot start Jared Goff. You may not be able to start certain wide receivers. You obviously got to start David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon St. Brown. But I learned that you just can't trust the Lions when it's cold outside because the Lions are, yeah. But the last thing that I learned here, guys, is that Mahomes is not a first-round pick. Mahomes, listen, you're great, you're good, but you're just not that first-round pick that we all were expecting and everything else like that. So if anybody is ever wondering if next year, if you want to draft a quarterback, listen, if you are in my fantasy league and you want to take a quarterback first, go ahead. But I'm going to tell you for other leagues, and if you want to listen to me and if you want to make sure that you don't draft Patrick Mahomes number one because Patrick Mahomes is just not, and honestly, no quarterback is worth a first rounder because you can get quarterbacks like CJ Stroud. I got Brock Purdy, I think, in the 14th round this year in one of my leagues. And yes, that might just be because I'm drafting with certain people, but you could wait on a quarterback. And look, CJ Stroud and Brock Purdy are one of the top fantasy football quarterbacks all of this year. So I think you can, and I think it's a very good idea that you can wait on a quarterback in the draft next year. So let's get into, and let's talk about the disappointments for this week. And let's talk about all these guys that were just straight up bad, that if you had any of these guys, you may have lost this week. So DeAndre Swift, he had 3.9 points. That's not very good. Jamar Chase, bro, I don't know what's going on with you, but you only had 5.9 points. And that just ain't going to cut it for a number one wide receiver. I'm gonna need some better stuff from you, my guy. So we also have Amon St. Brown. I just talked about the Giants. I just talked about the Lions. And as I said, guys, I just do not believe that you can trust the Lions in and outside and out of the dome, hot weather, stuff like that. So we're going to have to see, and we're going to have to see what happens. But the Lions do play at home this week, and they are taking on, let me make sure, they are taking on the Denver Broncos. And yes, the Denver Broncos defense has been good, but I do think that you can, and I think that you could still start Amon St. Brown. You could start Jahmyr Gibbs. You could start David Montgomery. I don't know about Jared Goff, but I think he'll be a better option than he were to be if they were playing in Denver. Zach Moss only at 9 points, and yes, 9 points is okay. But when you're taking over for somebody like Jonathan Taylor, we're hoping for a little bit more. So, listen, I'm not going to hate on it, but I'm also just not going to get too excited about it because it isn't what we were expecting from Zach Moss. We have Keaton Mitchell, guys. The Ravens backfield might be one of the most complicated things that we've ever had to deal with in the NFL and in just fantasy football in general. Because I don't know what their issue is, and I don't know what their thing is, and I don't know what the problem is. But they don't know who to pick at running back. They have no idea. So we are stuck in this situation where we now have to try to figure it out every single week and every single which way. So it's not a very fun time, and it's not good at all. So I'm going to have to stay away from both of them because Gus the Bus Edwards, guys, needs to be taken out of all fantasy football lineups until the near future because he had 2 points this week. He had 4 the week before the bye. And the last week that he had a very good week was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So unless he is getting a full bulk of the opportunities and everything else like that, I just do not see a place that I trust Keaton Mitchell or Gus the Bus Edwards in the draft or in the fantasy playoffs, not the draft, the fantasy playoffs. Now, the last big upset of the week, I really thought this guy was going to have a great game. And yes, the Chiefs did a very good job, but Stefon Diggs, number 1 wide receiver, guys, he was drafted very high, very overall high in most leagues and everything else like that. So it will be okay, but it will be, and it's not going to be the best situation if Josh Allen keeps fumbling the ball. But you can't sit Stefon Diggs, guys. Don't be crazy here and don't be nuts. Also, Joshua Dobbs, guys, the biggest upset of the week. Joshua Dobbs had 5.88 points. He had 69 yards passing. He had 18 rushing yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. I think he did have a fumble, though. So, biggest upset of the week, Josh Dobbs. So, now let's take a look. And I do not have the picture of the week for the perfect lineup because I couldn't get it. So, we're going to go over, and I'm just going to tell you who the best guy at each position was. So, for the quarterback position, putting up 44-plus points, or 40-plus points, I should say, was Lamar Jackson. He had 316 yards. He had 3 touchdowns and an interception. So, having himself a very, very good game. He outscored guys like Dak Prescott, etc., etc. We had Evan Ingram as the top tight end that scored 32.5 points. We had the top defense of the week was the New Orleans Saints that had 30 points against the Carolina Panthers. We had the number 1 running back was, let's see who the number 1 running back was. I think it was Breece Hall, or I'm sorry, no, it was actually Ezekiel Elliott, guys, with 27 points. And we also had a few guys that went off, like the dude Chase Brown from the Bengals, etc., etc. So those were just a few of the top performances of the week. But hopefully, if you had some of those guys, you were feeling really, really good. And the top wide receiver of the week was Deebo Samuel, as Deebo Samuel put up 34 points. He had 7 receptions, 149 yards receiving, and he had 2 touchdowns. So Deebo Samuel doing his thing, and all those other guys are your perfect lineup for week 14 of the fantasy football season and the last week of the regular season. So let's now, before we get into and before we talk about everything else, I'm going to go grab a quick water. I think I got the water over here. Yes, we do. I need a water break, guys. So don't judge me. I'm sorry. I needed a water break. My hat is a little sideways, so let's fix the hat. Let's get the water. And let's get ready, guys, as we talk about week 15, the first week of the fantasy football playoffs. We got to set that perfect lineup. We got to get you ready. We got to make sure that you're in it. We got to make sure you move on, and we got to make sure that you bring home that title and that you run supreme against your league mates, your friends, your families, whoever's in your league. It's time to reign supreme, and it's time to make sure you do everything right to win and take home all that money and take home that trophy. So let's get into and let's start previewing week number 15, the first round of the fantasy football playoffs. But first, water break and chat. No slacking. Jadis. Listen, I need a water break, bro. Tua or Fields? Maybe. So the Dolphins are going up against the Jets. And the Bears are going up against the Browns. I'm so sorry, George, that you have this decision to make, because either option, to be honest, is not my favorite. But if you have to make a decision, I would go with the Dolphins, and I would go with Tua Tagovailoa only. I will in a second. Jadis, I just want to answer George's question real quick. But I will say, because the Browns are at home and the Dolphins are at home, the Bears are on the road. I think the road might be a little wishy-washy for the Bears. So I would go Tua in that situation. But it's still not my favorite matchup. Honestly, if you can, would you go and maybe go pick up somebody like a Joe Browning? Not Joe Browning. Just go pick up Browning. Maybe Minshew, if Minshew plays. But they play 2 hard defenses. It's gonna be really interesting. Yes, the 49ers did clinch a playoff berth yesterday with the Packers loss. The Raiders quarterback, carrying him on my bad. Big facts. Most entertaining game, most boring game, and most exciting game of week 15. So, most exciting game of the week, to me, Bills and Cowboys, I think, is the most exciting game. Most boring game, probably the Falcons and Panthers, or the Commanders and Rams. And the most exciting game, or most interesting game, whatever, I think will be, and honestly, it might be the Dolphins and Jets, because it's going to be really interesting to see if Tua learned from what happened on Black Friday. Because on Black Friday, Tua didn't play very well. So let's see if he learned, and let's see if he did not. Yeah, or he did not. Oh, Joe Flacco, yeah. So Deshaun, yeah. Tyreek Hill's got an ankle problem. Hopefully he will play. I know they got exposed 2 separate weeks. Seahawks could, but yeah. Dallas Goedert did not help me do anything. Dallas Goedert had about, I think he had like 9-10 points, I think. What's up, Joe? bit of the NFL 2 days ago. Hey, there we go. See some of the quarterbacks that are coming out of. Yeah, we got a couple of them. He said no slacking on the job, no water. Listen, bro. Listen, Jadis. We did that. What do you want to know, Chris? I want to say oh no, that's not good. Chris, why do you keep coming in here and breaking bad news, bro? Chargers, yeah, that's true. That could be very low scoring, and that could be very defensive heavy. So we'll have to see with that. But now, guys, let's get ready and let's get ready to look at and let's get ready to do all of the information that I need you guys to get in your heads for week number 15 and the first week of the fantasy football playoffs. There are no teams on a bye, guys. Thank God. I don't know why buys lasted until week 14, but buys are over now, and everybody's got to play. So no more buys. So now let's get into and let's do some bold predictions, guys, and let's take a look at what my bold predictions last week were. Let's see if we have any things that happen. And yeah, we do. Last week I said CJ Stroud would throw 5 touchdowns. That did not happen. I said the Eagles-Cowboys would tie. That obviously did not happen. But what I did say was, and shout out to Adam Rank for this one, because I heard him say it on Thursday's show of the Fantasy Football Show on the NFL Network. He said that this is the biggest trap game, or not biggest, but he did say that this could be a very big trap game. Not like, it could be a trap game for the Giants and the Packers. And that's exactly what it was, because the Giants went out there and they beat the Packers. Jordan Love didn't have a great game. Everybody was sleeping and they were worrying about and they wanted to go get Jordan Love, and they thought Jordan Love was going to be their saving grace. Well, it didn't happen. Giants played good defense and the Giants won. So we did get one bold prediction right. So this week, I'm going to do it again. Let's do all the bold predictions again. A tie is going to happen, guys. With the way this season is going, it's only a matter of time before it happens in the regular season, before we go to 2 overtimes in the playoffs. There's going to be a tie in the NFL at some point. I guarantee you it. So that's my bold prediction. My other bold prediction is we said a team was going to beat another team. Well, this week, I'm going to say the Patriots defeat the Buffalo Bills. I don't want it to happen, but the way the Bills turn over the ball, the way the Bills have not been playing, the way the Bills have been playing, I don't know. The Patriots may do it. And lastly, and I don't even know if this is bold because there's so many of them, but I guarantee you guys a backup quarterback will be the number one score. A bold prediction, I guess. A bold prediction is that I guarantee you oh my God, I can't speak. Bold prediction that a backup quarterback will be the number one scoring position of the week. So that means that he's going to be the number one scorer out of all of the guys. So if it's Nick Mullins, if it's Browning, if it's O'Connell, if it's Mitch, whoever it is, I'm telling you, and let's be bold, and I'm going to say a backup quarterback is the top scorer of the week. So you may want to get a backup in your week, in your league and in your lineup, because they may lead you to a championship. So now that we did that, now we got the bold predictions that took way too long because I messed that all up. Let's get into the waiver wire, the starts, the sits, and the streams of week number 15. So let's start off with the waiver wire, and my top 5 waiver wire pickups for the week go like this. At number 5, we got Noah Brown taking on the Titans. Obviously, CJ Stroud may be out, but somebody's got to throw the ball, and somebody's got to throw the ball to somebody, right? So Noah Brown may be an option this week as a number 3 wide receiver, a flex option, stuff like that. And that Titans defense that Titans game may be very high scoring because it just might be. So pick up Noah Brown. If you haven't yet, he might be gone, but if he's still out there. We got Zay Jones taking on the Ravens. Zay Jones going up against the Baltimore Ravens this week. I don't know how I feel about it, but many Jaguars this week. But Zay Jones, if you have and you need wide receiver help, I would definitely consider picking him up because, we'll just have to see what happens. But Zay Jones taking on the Ravens. Ravens defense is good, but somebody's got to catch the ball. Now, D'Onta Foreman, I don't know if I would pick up him if he's there because he is obviously on the Bears, but the Bears have been playing better this lately, and the Bears aren't the same Bears that we thought they were. They've won 2 in a row. They're playing good defense the last 5-6 weeks. Maybe we're going to see the Bears and the Broncos in the Super Bowl this year. Wouldn't that be some shit? But D'Onta Foreman taking on the Cleveland Browns. I think he's a good pickup this week. I don't know if I'd start him against the Browns, but it's always good to have guys for the playoffs, especially if you have depth at that position. Now, wide receiver you should go and get and start this week is Odell Beckham Jr. Yes, guys, it is 2015, and Odell Beckham Jr. is back in our fantasy football lives. So, Odell Beckham, go and get him in your lineup if you need a wide receiver. Taking on Jacksonville, Sunday Night Football. It should be a good game. Number 1 waiver wire pickup of the week is taking on the Bengals Saturday. We will be here watching that game. We saw him get hurt earlier this past week, the running back that is for the team. So it's time to go pick up the backup. And if you have the opportunity, go and get him. Ty Chandler taking on the Bengals should be a very good opportunity if he does start this week. We'll have to see what happens with Alexander Madison, obviously, as the weeks go on or as the days go on. But Ty Chandler, number 1 waiver wire pickup of the week here in week number 15. Now, let's do the starts, the sits, and the streams of week number 15. So let's start with the guys that you can start this week. And I think they have good options. And I think you should have them in your lineup. So let's go with Dangerous Russ taking on the Detroit Lions. Or if Geno Smith is available and if he plays this week, he may be a good option to take on that Philadelphia defense that just has not been very good lately. But I'm going to go with Dangerous Russ taking on the Detroit Lions. Kyren Williams, you should be starting this guy automatically. But if you're not, I don't know what you're doing because he's been the best running back in Los Angeles. He's been the guy that's got the most opportunities in all of the NFL. So taking on the Commanders, Kyren Williams should be in your lineup. We got Zay Flowers. I just told you to pick him up. Start him if you have him this week. Jake Ferguson, he's been that guy that Dak Prescott loves to throw the ball to, and Dak Prescott just seems to not care anymore. So the Bills' defense may be a little troublesome for the Cowboys, but I'm sure Dak will figure it out. So Dak taking on the Bills, put Fergie in your lineup, Jake Ferguson that is, and feel good about it. Now the defense we're going to start this week, we're going to go back to Black Friday, and we're going to take the Miami Dolphins defense taking on the New York Jets. And I think the Dolphins are a very good option this week. And I think the Dolphins are somebody that if you have them and if you are able to get them, definitely start them this week, taking on the Jets. So now that we went over the starts of the week, let's go over the guys that you need to sit this week and the guys that I need you to take out of your lineup and the guys that you do not need to be having and the guys that I just do not trust this week. So let's go with Tua. I just said to start the Dolphins defense, but that doesn't mean you got to start Tua Tagovailoa as a quarterback because last time we saw them play each other, it was not a very good time and it was just not a very good sight. So Tua, sorry, but you might have to be on the bench this week and you may need to not start for my fantasy team. So if you have better options or if you have a backup quarterback that has a better matchup, I don't know if I really want them playing the Jets, and I really don't know if I want them and I want my guy to go up against the Jets defense. Let's sit James Conner against the 49ers. 49ers defense, guys, is absolutely ridiculous. And honestly, I don't want to start anybody against them. So I'm going to stay away from James Conner this week. Also, staying away from the Pittsburgh Steelers wideouts. George Pickens, I don't know where you went, guy, but you're just a lost cause. We have Deontay Johnson. We got Pat Freiermuth. Look, don't get me wrong. These guys are good, but I just the fantasy playoff, guys, every point and every win matters. You got to start the right guys, or you could be sitting yourself at home next Tuesday and sitting here trying to figure out what went wrong. So also, the Lions defense sitting this week, I think, is a good option because the Lions defense has not been what we thought they were going to be. Yes, they had a few turnovers against the Bears. Justin Fields, Justin Fields actually didn't have any turnovers. I lied. But the Lions, they have turned the ball and they forced turnovers. But the Broncos have been playing very good lately. And I think the Broncos may beat the Lions this week. And who knows? Maybe the Lions start slipping a little. I'm not saying they're not going to make the playoffs. I'm just saying maybe they'll lose a few in a row. So I'm going to say the Broncos beat the Lions. And that's why I'm going to say you sit the Lions this week. But now that I told you to sit some guys, let's talk about the guys that you can put in your lineup for those guys that I just told you to take out of your lineup. And let's start in Indianapolis as Gardner Minshew takes on the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think it's a decent matchup. And if Gardner Minshew plays, I think he's a very good start and streaming option this week. Tyler Algier taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. It's going to be a very good game. Not the Cincinnati Bengals. I am so sorry. The Carolina Panthers, they are taking on the Carolina Panthers, the Atlanta Falcons are. So, taking on the Carolina Panthers defense, Carolina can't figure anything out. So, if you need a running back, and if he's available, go get Tyler Algier. Odell Beckham Jr., as I said, to pick him up. I cannot believe that we're going back to Odell Beckham Jr. It's the fantasy football playoffs, and it might be bold, but Odell Beckham, guys, might be a good start this week. Him and Lamar have a good connection. If he stays on the field, he's been very good. So Odell might be a good option this week. Now, we got Logan Thomas taking on the Los Angeles Rams, and we're going to see him go up there. Sam Howell, Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson, Terry Scary McLaurin, and Logan Thomas. So if you need a tight end, go and start Logan Thomas, stream Logan Thomas. And I know I didn't mention a sit tight end because that's as I tell you guys every week. There's really not too many tight ends you can sit because even guys unlike the Packers, like last night, Tyler Kroft, he got 10 points in some leagues and 8 points in other leagues. So he might not, we can't really sit tight ends. So the Indianapolis Colts, though, are that defense that I think you can stream this week, taking on Mitchell Trubisky and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Indianapolis Colts guys have had a pick six. They've been scoring a lot of points, and I think it could be a very good game for their defense. So those are my starts, my sits, and my streams for the first round of the fantasy football playoffs. So now let's take a second and let's take a look at the NFL games as we go through the games from last week. We go through the games from this week, and then we take a look at the playoff picture. So let's take a look at last week's picks, and let's see how we did last week because I don't know how well I did, and honestly, I don't think it was as good as I thought it was because, yeah. So let's take a look. Let's take a look-see, though, because I already forgot. So let's take a look. We took the Buccaneers to beat the Falcons. The Buccaneers did beat the Falcons 1-0. I'll take it. Colts did not beat the Bengals 1-1. The Saints beat the Panthers 2-1. We saw the Ravens win 3-1. We saw the 49ers win 4-1. We saw the Broncos win. Broncos win 4-2. The Bills won 5-2. Raiders lost 5-3. The Texans lose, so 5-4. The Browns, what did the Browns do? The Browns win 6-4. And then the Bears won, which I'm so happy the Bears won 6-5. So we won 6-5 this week. Not great, but not bad. So now let's take a look at the games for this week. And then let's take a look at the playoff picture. So we got on Thursday night, guys, we'll be here live for that game, as it is not Justin Herbert, I'm sorry. It is Austin Eckler and the Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Las Vegas Raiders, as it is going to be, and we're going to see it on Thursday night, but I'm going to say the Las Vegas Raiders pick up the win. We got the Vikings and the Bengals on Saturday morning. Let's go Bengals. We got the Colts and Steelers on at 3 o'clock, or on at not on at 3 o'clock. I'm sorry, but we got the Steelers. Or no, they are on at 3 o'clock. That's right. On 3 o'clock on Saturday, we got the Steelers and Colts. Let's go the Colts to win that one. We got the Lions and the Broncos Saturday night. Let's take the Lions to win. We got the Bears and the Browns. Let's take the Browns to win. We got the Patriots and the Chiefs. Let's take the Chiefs. Falcons and Carolina. Let's take Falcons. We got the Commanders and the Rams. Let's take the Rams. We got the 49ers and the Cardinals. We got the 49ers. Cowboys and Bills. Let's go Cowboys, I'll say. Ravens and Jaguars. Let's go Ravens. We got the Eagles and Seahawks. Let's go Eagles. We got the Buccaneers and the Fudge Packers. Let's take the Buccaneers. We got the Texans and the Titans. Let's take the Texans. And then we got the Jets and the Dolphins. Let's take the Dolphins. And then we got the Giants and we got the Saints. And let's take the Saints. So those are all of the games for Week 15 of the NFL football season. Let me know what you guys think about that. Let me know what you guys think about it in general. But now let's take a look at the playoff picture. And if the season were to end today, this would be, and this is exactly what the playoffs would look like. And this is who would be in, and this is who would be out. So let me get rid of the segment thing so you guys can take a look at it. And then let's go over this real quick. We have the Baltimore Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers sitting on top. So they would be, as of this moment, they would be the number 1 seed, and they would be having the bye for the week. And then over in the AFC, let's go through the AFC playoff picture real quick. We have the number 7 seed, the Colts, taking on the Dolphins. We got the Steelers taking on the Chiefs. And we got the Browns taking on the Jaguars. And in the hunt, we have the Texans, we got the Broncos, we got the Bengals, and we got the Bills. The fact the Bills would not be in the playoffs, but the Pittsburgh Steelers would be, is kind of crazy. So we're going to have to see what happens. But the fact that the Bengals and the Bills are 10-11, and we may not see them in the playoffs this year, is absolutely mind-boggling to me. Now let's take a look at the NFC. We have the 49ers, as I said, at the number 1 seed. We got the Cowboys taking on the Green Bay Fudge Packers. Can't believe the Green Bay Fudge Packers would be in the playoffs right now. We have the Lions taking on the Vikings in an NFC North matchup. We have the Eagles, Jadis' Eagles, taking on the Buccaneers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then in the 8th seed, we got the Los Angeles Rams. 9th seed, we got the Seattle Seahawks. Number 10, we got the Atlanta Falcons. Number 11, we got the New Orleans Saints. But at number 12 and 13, guys, you don't want to forget about the New York Giants or my Chicago Bears. As if they win next week, both teams win next week. And if the Packers lose, the Saints lose, the Falcons lose, maybe the Seahawks win, there could be a lot of crazy things that happen because the Giants and the Bears are only a game out of being into the hunt. So it's very possible we could see a lot of crazy stuff go down between the 6th and the 7th seed, depending on how things play out. It's going to come down. It's going to be very exciting, and I cannot wait to see what happens. But as of right now, and if the season ended today and we were getting ready to watch the playoffs this weekend, it would be looking like this. So let me know what you guys think about that. I'm going to leave this up here for another second. I'm going to put myself back in here. I will put the ticker back up, and then I'm going to take this off, and then we're going to get to the comments. We're going to see what everybody's saying, what everybody's doing, and everything else. So let's get back to the chat. Let's see what we got. Chargers, Raiders, boring game. Yeah, it's big facts. The NXT Men's Breakout Tournament does start tonight. Yes, guys, remember that NXT is live tonight as it's the fallout from NXT Deadline. Is there another game going to be like, I mean, Jadis, don't put it past them. The Bills have been lacking. Yo, what's up, Daniel? How is Trevor back? I don't think he should have played yesterday or on Sunday. Yes, he had a decent game. Yes, they won, but I don't think he should have played. I'm just saying. 3 teams, 3 playoffs for you, boy. Yes, Botkins, you love to see it. I went 2 out of 3, so I still got a chance. It was my 2 big money leagues, so I'll take it. I didn't make it in my 1 small money league, but I'm just happy to be in the playoffs and to have a chance. Because last year, guys, I talk about it all the time. Last year, I was literally 4-8. I needed 2 wins. I needed certain teams to lose, and I ended up winning the league. I won 3 in a row, and I ended up winning everything. So if you are the number 6 seed, if you just snuck into the playoffs, it's okay, because I promise you that you could do it. You could very well come back, and all it takes is you just got to get in and hope that your team goes berserk and has themselves a good week. Because in reality, that's all it takes. And just hopefully you set and you pick the right people. Don't be like Tino and don't Tino yourself and pick the wrong people. Broncos win. I mean, I can see it. Jets win. Bears win. The Bears go 6-8 and they're back in the playoff picture. Shit. Tino's going bananas. No way we're the 5th seed. Yup, you're the 5th seed, Jadis. Yup, this is accurate. Yes, sir, Jadis. 5th seed right now because the Cowboys are above you. Yes, because they beat you. We have Denver Broncos, 1 game out of the AFC. You can't forget about the Broncos either, guys. The Broncos are over 500. Yeah, that's true. Can't forget about the Broncos. Carmelo Hayes will be in the tournament for tonight, or on Friday, I should say. So, yeah. I don't know. That's what it says, Jadis. You're the 5th seed as of right now. So, I don't know what to tell you. So, guys, though, that is all the information that I have here for you for the Week 15 preview as we get ready for the fantasy football playoffs, guys. I want to thank you all so much for coming here and hanging out with me. I know it's a lot of information. I know I talk a lot, and it's a lot of good stuff. But we got to get it out. We got to talk about it. And we got to make sure we set those perfect lineups so we can get you in to the fantasy football playoffs. Or get you moved on in the fantasy football playoffs, I should say. So, guys, thank you all so much for coming here and hanging out. Remember, we will not be live here tonight for NXT. But tomorrow, guys, we got ourselves a doubleheader here on Tino's Time, as we will be here live twice on Tino's Time, as we will be live here first at 2 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, guys, as it is the road to SummerSlam in my GM mode. It's season 2 of my GM mode, guys. Come and hang out as Dominic is the North American champion on NXT. Undertaker wants the world title on WCW. Come and hang out as we play 4 weeks. We watch 4 matches. We have ourselves a good time as it's the road to the SummerSlam pay-per-view premium live event. But also, for one night only, guys, we will be back here tomorrow night for AEW Dynamite. Yes, I said that right. AEW Dynamite, guys. One night only until February. For Winter is Coming. It's AEW Dynamite. It's Winter is Coming. We got Adam Copeland and Christian. We got Rush. We got John Moxley. We got the TBS champion Julia Hart. We got Roddy Strong. Jay White in action. Come and hang out tomorrow night as it's one night only for AEW. Winter is coming. So, we're only live here once today, but we'll be back here tomorrow for 2 shows. So, until next time and until tomorrow, guys, as I always like to tell you, become a member of the channel. We'll be doing a members only live stream next week. So make sure you become a member to be a part of that episode. It's be a little Christmas members only live stream. So come and hang out, a little festival edition. Come and hang out. Maybe watch a Christmas movie. Maybe we'll play some games. I don't know. So come and hang out as members only Christmas edition, guys, next week. So make sure you do that. Make sure that you go and you leave a super chat or two if you can. Not necessary, but it does help the channel here. And I got to say it because it is what it is. So do that if you can. If not, I understand. Make sure you guys go hit that like button if you have not on this episode. Make sure that you go and get yourself some merchandise on bonfire.com/TinosTime. We got Back It Up in the house. What's up, Back It Up Binge? What's up, bro? Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you. So make sure you guys go and do all that good stuff. Make sure you hit that like button on all the social medias. Go and follow all the social medias on the ticker below. Make sure that you go and hit the like button on this episode. Make sure you hit that like button, guys, as we only have 9 likes now. Hit that like button if you have not yet, guys. Let's at least get to 20 likes on today's episode. You guys be slacking. It takes 2 seconds. It's free. All you got to do is press a button. Hit that like button if you have not yet, guys. Also, hit that subscribe button as we are now officially on the road to 1,500 subscribers. Halfway to 2K. Halfway to another raffle for all of you lucky subscribers. So, hit that subscribe button and join the nation. That is Tino's Nation. And lastly, guys, make sure that you turn that notification button on so you know when we go live next, which, as I said, will be tomorrow. So, before we go, make sure that we give out the MVP. And he already said it. Tonight's MVP is the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only. It's Chris LeClaire. So, Chris, appreciate you coming, hanging out, asking some good questions, being here with your boy Tino. I appreciate you so much. So, guys, thank you so much for coming here and hanging out with Tino. I appreciate you all so much. But as I just said, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn that notification button on so you know when new episodes, shorts, and everything else comes out. So, guys, enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening, and I will see you all back here at 2 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time for the road to SummerSlam and AEW Dynamite, guys. Have a great night, and I will see you all tomorrow for a doubleheader.